Today on Comic Misconceptions, I'm finally not on a green screen anymore, and we're gonna talk about some president, singular. Abraham Lincoln is the guy. Roll it! Welcome to Comic Misconceptions, a show that takes you into detail about the things you think you know about comics. I'm your host, Scott Niswander, and today is Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and I think that warrants an episode about that fine fellow. First and foremost, I want to say a big thank you to my friend Chris, who's going to be helping me out, pulling all the comic books that I need for each episode, and due to a communications error, he thought I asked him to find any and all comic books with Abraham Lincoln in it instead of just the very specific few that I asked for, which is actually kind of awesome, because without his help, I would have never known about this comic called Jesus Hates Zombies, featuring Abraham Lincoln Hates Werewolves. He also found one from Scooby-Doo, number 2, all about how Abraham Lincoln apparently comes back to life and runs for governor, and even the smarter members of the team jump straight to the conclusion that it's not a hoax, but it really is the real Abraham Lincoln, which is weird, but kind of fun. Scooby-Doo is my favorite, so don't judge. But if you want nothing more than your favorite comic book characters meeting the real Abraham Lincoln, then look no further than the recent Deadpool Marvel Now series, in which the first arc is Deadpool going around and re-killing all of the reanimated dead presidents. On his first attempt to kill them all, Wade is shot in the back of the head by Abraham Lincoln, who exclaims, "I've always wanted to do that." Or however Daniel Day-Lewis would say that. I never saw Lincoln, but I hear it's like a higher pitch. I've always wanted to do that. After some practice with some of the more forgettable presidents, Deadpool tries to go back and kill Honest Abe, only to get shot in the head again. Abe then goes to a wrestling match to kill all the people there, much like he died in a theater. He starts by beating up the main wrestler guy, and then Deadpool shows up, round 3, a one-on-one fist fight with Abraham Lincoln, so that way hopefully he won't get shot in the head again. But it's not like it was much help anyway. Abraham Lincoln still kicks the crap out of Deadpool, so he kind of cheats, pulls out one of his katanas and cuts Abraham Lincoln's head off. Calls that a victory. Go Deadpool. Alright, so maybe that wasn't the real Abraham Lincoln so much as it was an evil zombie version of him, but Superman has run into the real Abraham Lincoln before. In this story from Superman 146, Supes tries to rewrite the past after a mermaid asks him to go back in time and stop Atlantis from sinking. Now, he's already tried to rewrite the past before, to no avail, but he tries it anyway, because that's how Superman does it. He discovers that he's actually successful in saving Atlantis from sinking, so he decides, hey, I'm just gonna go jump around through time, righting all of the wrongs in history, and one of them includes saving Abraham Lincoln from being shot by John Wilkes Booth. Unfortunately, when he goes back to his own time, he realizes that, yeah, all of the changes stick, but it's in an alternate universe that doesn't have the rule where you can't rewrite history like his current actual universe does. So Abraham Lincoln is still dead. I mean, he would have been dead anyway. So he wouldn't have been alive to that day. He wasn't assassinated, is what I meant to say. But was one of Superman's friends responsible for the assassination of Abraham Lincoln? This leads us into last week's trivia question, finally, which was, what friend of Superman believed that one of their previous incarnations was responsible for the death of Abraham Lincoln? The answer here is Jimmy Olsen, fellow employee of Daily Planet, co-worker of Clark Kent, and really good friends with Superman. In an issue 110 of his comic book, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, he hooks up to an Animus-like machine so that he can view the memories of his ancestors. And actually, I don't really know a lot about Assassin's Creed and how the Animus works, so I'm gonna ask Bryce how it all goes down. Bryce, does the Animus only let you view the memories of your ancestors, or can you interact at all while you're in their body? I don't know what you said because we haven't filmed that part yet, but it sure did sound like words. Thanks, Bryce. Anyway, so Jimmy jumps into one of these machines and starts viewing the memories of his past relatives. One of them is a guy who helped kill Julius Caesar. The second one is a cowardly knight who ran away in battle. And the third one is one of the guards of Ford's Theater who fell asleep on the job, letting John Wilkes Booth get past and assassinate Abraham Lincoln. Jimmy realizes that his ancestors are just terrible people who do nothing but hurt or abandon the people they love and care about or are supposed to be protecting, so he doesn't want that to be the case with him. He doesn't want his life to be the inevitable death of Superman. So he takes one of the Daily Planet's helicopters and crash lands on a deserted island to live out the rest of his life in solitude. Just then, Superman shows up to try and make Jimmy feel better about himself, because he had actually jumped in the machine after Jimmy to see the truth behind his past ancestors, and it turns out they're actually not that bad. The guy who killed Julius Caesar was actually just trying to signal the guards to come protect Caesar. The knight that ran away in battle actually took a fireball to the chest trying to protect the king. And the guard that fell asleep at Ford's Theater was actually ordered by Abraham Lincoln to fall asleep so that John Wilkes Booth could get past him, and then the guards inside would stop him, but they were asleep as... That one doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me personally, but I guess just following orders, I don't know. The point is that all of Jimmy Olsen's ancestors were faithful to the end, and Superman could not have chosen a better friend. Aww. These are just a few of the minor stories that tap into Abraham Lincoln in comic books, and if I missed any, please let me know in the comments below. I'm always looking to read some cool new comics by you guys, by recommendation of the coolest people on the internet. You who are watching, that's you right there. You're one of the cool people. But let's move on to this week's trivia challenge. I don't know if I've ever made it clear to you guys, but I love comic books. It's kind of what makes me unique. Not really, but when comic books are done well, they create this world that you're just immersed in, that you can lose yourself into, but sometimes the reality and that world also mixed together. So next week, not next week, the next time, because every other, we're going to be talking about the times when reality and comic books collide. Starting with this week's trivia challenge, which is Stan Lee was once saved by Spider-Man while he was hosting what long-running television show? If you know the answer or just want to take your best guess, leave it in the comments below. And of course, as always, guys, honor system. If you're right, you could be featured in the show next week. So get started on this week's trivia challenge. I missed the green screen. We used to have cool stuff here, but go get started. The end. Let's see what you guys had to say about the last episode. So first and foremost, to all of you guys yelling at me, telling me that it was Superboy and not Superman who caused Matter Eater Lad to gain some weight. Yes, of course, that's right. Thank you for keeping me honest. The only reason that I intentionally said Superman and not Superboy was because it was Clark Kent Superboy and not maybe the Superboy that everyone's kind of used to, which is the clone of Superman. So I didn't really want to have to take time out of the episode to explain that that's what I was talking about. So I was like, he's the same guy. I'll just call him Superman. Although, in retrospect, it probably wouldn't have taken that much time. I didn't expect that big of a backlash, but yes, from now on, I will make sure that I refer to him in the correct superhero alias. Also, a big thanks to Mike Cunningham for pointing me in the direction of superdickery.com, which is a website that archives all of the times that Superman has been a douche. I've heard of the site, but I've never been, so when he requested that I go there, I went, and one of the first things I saw was this comic called Jimmy Olsen, Fat Boy of Metropolis, which I think paralleled very nicely with last week's episode, which talked about Lois Lane, fattest girl in Metropolis. So, serendipity. Also, a couple updates about future episodes. We are hopefully going to be planning on doing a Valentine's Day mini episode this Friday, so stay tuned for that. And most importantly, we're reaching our 1-year anniversary of Comic Misconceptions, and I want to do something really cool, some really special, do some Q&As. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and then I'm going to answer them on that video. And also, I'm going to be giving you some behind the scenes about how we make each episode of Comic Misconceptions, so that is going to be really exciting, I think, to look forward to if you like learning how things are made, I guess. But you don't have to ask me anything personal if you don't want to. It can be really any question about anything. The more questions, the better, and you can ask more than one, so just right away. And once again, special thanks to Chris for helping me get all the comics for this episode, and Bryce for the Animus thing, and also for editing these episodes with me. So if you guys also are any editors out there or want to help in any show that we have in any sort of way, whether it be researching so that I don't get things wrong, or finding comic books for me to talk about, finding new ideas, then please let me know in the comments below or email us at nerdsyncproductions@gmail.com. We're always looking for any help, but we cannot pay you because we ourselves do not get paid. So there you go. I'll see you guys right here in 2 weeks for more things that you thought you knew about comics. See ya. Freddie Dukes, aka Blob.
You just call me Blob?
Yes, I did. I'm surprised you heard it, though. I assumed that my words would just be trapped in orbit around your body forever.
Oh, that's funny.
Thank you. Insensitive joke? Check. But Blob is a mutant and occasional antagonist to the X-Men. But in a story arc called House of M, in which 99% of all mutants on Earth lose their powers, he just becomes plain old Freddie Dukes. Well, maybe not plain, because he does have
a little bit of excess skin, though.
One second. Hello. What's up?
Is he not here?
No, he's not. He's at the library.
Can I steal his book?
Sure.
Sorry, you intrude.
You're good. The heck was that guy? Huzzah!
I'm sorry. I know what I just interrupted, didn't I?
No, you're not the first person. Nick, get in here.
Am I on a show?
Nick's on a show. Nick, take over. I'm gonna do this stuff. We're talking about Abraham Lincoln, so.
Abraham Lincoln. He's a vampire hunter, right?
Sure.
That was totally historically accurate movie.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. Why am I here?
I'm not done. Not done. Go. Leave me. Leave me away. You are the third person to interrupt me today. I'm so sorry.